What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. This is episode 294. This is a very special day for three reasons. One, this is the last episode of 2022. This has been a wild year that has lasted both a decade, but also 2 weeks. We took a pretty lengthy break during the summer, but I think we came back not only stronger, but stronger than ever in the back half. With our new format, our new 4-person squad, which we'll talk about briefly in a moment. So because at least now Amanda doesn't have to deal with me all by herself. Bless her heart. So that's number one. Number two, we're going to talk about our games of the year, which is very exciting. Hard fought in the EFG staff Facebook group. And third, Jeff's back. So let's just talk about that. Jeff Walker, the man from the frozen north, is here. You used to host the EFG show, which has since been canceled because you had a baby.
My wife had a baby.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Let's make sure.
I mean, listen. That's how I understand it to work, but I don't know if things are different out there.
Yes, I am back from, I guess, the EFG Michigan office.
Welcome back. And, I just want to say, we gave him an entire year off at his full pay and benefits.
Yeah, I do want to say EFG does give the best paternity leave I've ever received. A full year off at my full pay.
Exactly.
Yep.
Think about it.
In fact, they doubled it.
We thought listen, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for my people. So welcome back, Jeff. And so Jeff is joining us today. And speaking of us, let's talk about one of my very best friends in the whole wide world, Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power. Amanda, how are you?
It's podcast week, baby. I'm great.
It is podcast week, and it is very exciting. Joining me also is the man behind the curtain, John Tomlinson. John, how are you, my friend?
I corrected someone in Star Wars about Star Wars last week, so I'm doing fine.
You're doing great. Listen, that is some nerd level stuff. Speaking of nerd level stuff, Linda Roble, the Mistress of Magnificence, otherwise known as Mom, joining us.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. So this has been a wild year, 2022. Would you guys, when I said at the top of the show that this was like a year that was like a decade long, but also 2 weeks, no one nodded. But this really has been a really bizarre year, right? I'm not alone.
No, it definitely was a crazy year.
Jeff, you basically didn't sleep through all of it, so I don't know. How have you been?
Yeah, going 1 year. Can't believe 1 year ago I had a new baby and still trying to catch up on my sleep. She's finally sleeping through the night, but I also had to go through, I've been keeping a running tab of all the games I've beaten on my Twitter, and I had to go through to remind myself what came out this year that I've actually played.
All right. Well, I mean, listen, sleep deprivation will do that to you. You also host another podcast. So let's talk about that for a minute. So you host the Pokemon Snapshot, and you're on episode what now? It's something huge, right?
Yeah, so I recorded the Pokemon Snapshot with one of my best friends, Josh. We are chronologically reviewing the Pokemon anime. Ash finally made it to the Pokemon League. We are on we just recorded episode 80, and if you go back and listen to our most recent episode, we actually had the creator of PokeFinance.com on. His name's Anthony Walsh, and he lives in Abu Dhabi, and he is a personal finance advisor, and he relates everything back to Pokemon.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
That's really interesting. I wonder if that works.
He was the only person that could ever explain cryptocurrencies to me in language I understood by using Pokemon analogies.
Now I gotta listen because I certainly don't understand cryptocurrency.
No, he was great. Our first guest that was not the original host, was not one of the original hosts, and learned so much from him.
That's awesome. Super excited to see and hear about that. So the big topic of the day is our video game board games of the year. This is a big deal. Everybody puts their stuff out around this time. I think we're jumping the gun a little bit. I think a lot, the Game Awards were last week, but most other outlets are coming in the next week or so. But I'm just, we're gunning for it because we take the last couple weeks of the year off so we can enjoy the time with our family. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the board games first. Get them out of the way because there are less of them.
It's true.
And I'm not. It's because
That's
there
hilarious.
are less of them. Because we did something a little bit different this year with the video games. And we'll explain that in a moment. But before that, we do have one piece of very important breaking news. Guys, did you know Amanda wrote a book?
What? She did?
I did?
Amanda wrote a book. So for those of you that do not know and haven't listened to our show, Amanda wrote a book called Digital Playgrounds, Our Kids and Video Games, and it was written in partnership with another great friend of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast, Dr. Rachel Cowart, and my bestie, as it were. And it's a cool book. We'll put a link in the show notes. And it's breaking news every week and will remain so until her next book comes out.
Which will probably be March, I think.
At which point we'll have a different link. And we'll just keep doing that. That's just going to be a bit, everybody. So I hope you're ready because it's not going to stop.
Till the books are done.
Can't stop, won't stop.
You know what? And then maybe then I'll have written a book. Who the heck knows? Listen, the world is wild right now. So and there are no cops. I can do whatever I want. So anyway,
no cops.
No cops. So all right. So Linda, let's take a moment.
Sure.
Let's talk about board games this year. This year was a little bit better than previous years. We played more stuff that was interesting to us came out. We had some really great experiences. But I want to. So what we did, you and I, we collaborated on this, and rather than picking one game that we think is like just emblematic of the perfect game of the year, we decided to choose 3. And we're going to do that moving forward. So we're going to give them like a name. We're going to give them like a little sticker so we can send them to the developers. So we'll give them the graphic file. So if they want to put it on the box, they are welcome to do so. Because they do that. Dice Tower has their Dice Tower awards. We're going to do ours. We just don't know the name yet. But we're going to do 3. And so we have 3. And then we have one that just missed it. And so we have a couple of those in the video game space too. So Linda, let's start with that. What is our game that just missed the podium for?
All right, let me grab it. It's right next to me. So our one that, we're, maybe an honorable mention, shall we say, is Chonky Donkey. So Chonky Donkey, we picked this one partly because it is a party style game, which is not, we try to do something like different than party style, though we have had a game of the year before that was party style recently. But we really enjoy it. It's a fun, light family game. It got our family laughing hysterically every time we've played it. And so
with a name like Chonky Donkey, how could you not?
Yep.
How can you not? And with the premise of you cannot laugh or smile when you are reading the cards as the judge.
Oh, no.
I mean, that...
I would die. That'd be it for me.
I don't think this game is playable by you or I, Amanda. Like, this is one of those, we just would lose immediately.
Oh, we'd lose it. That's it.
It's not even that you would lose
horribly.
It. Here's the best thing. You could play it because when it is your turn to read the cards as the judge, all it is the first card you read where you laugh, that person gets the point. That's it. When people laugh with your cards, you get the point. So you still could play, even if you laugh hysterically every time.
It just means we'd have to shuffle up those cards real quick.
Like,
real well.
We got Mega Mom in the chat saying her whole family would lose every time. She might be able to deadpan for a minute. That's it. I'm going to be honest with you, Mega Mom. I think you could do it. I think it would be painful on the inside, but I think you could. Like, I think you're a good enough actor that you could role play your way through it and just push.
You're good enough, smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you.
Well, of course. Also, if there's only like 4 responses to read out, I think she could just power through it. You know what I mean? Anyway, I believe in Mega Mom. I do not believe in me. I don't think I could not because I love stupid crap like this. So I'm going to talk about one of the games that is our game of the year. are one of our games of the year, and that is Flamecraft by Cardboard Alchemy. Flamecraft by Cardboard Alchemy, which I can get. Hold on. I didn't know we were.
It's worth going to get because it is gorgeous. You open the box?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, we posted the.
Oh, that's right. You did. I'm sorry. It's been
a nice little montage over on the Instagram, but this is Flamecraft.
Oh, nice. It's
by
gorgeous.
Cardboard
Ooh.
Alchemy. Okay, so here's
So
the thing about
gorgeous.
Flamecraft. Number one, and this is what's really interesting. This is a Kickstarter that we really didn't talk a lot about when it was on Kickstarter. I backed this and I supported it because this is the team behind this, Max Brooks and everybody over Peter Vaughn, everybody over at Cardboard Alchemy, huge fans of them. And so I knew I was going to support it. I wasn't sure that this was going to be perfect for us because I hadn't played it. I hadn't really seen it. And so I backed it to support them, knowing that I'd eventually get the game. And a lot of people in my life and adjacent to it also backed this game. So I'm in the Facebook group and, your friends bought it and, several different people bought it that I didn't realize. So Flamecraft is, it's a world where basically dragons are Pokemon. And they help crafters do stuff. So there's like a bread Pokemon, or there's a bread dragon and a kebab dragon and stuff like that. And the idea is you're walking around trying to build your reputation by working with monsters and crafters to do cool stuff. The materials are absolutely gorgeous. It has this awesome mat. This is the deluxe edition. The dragon meeples, like the little dragon meeples, have like these awesome little smiles on their faces, and everything is just happy and wholesome.
I love that.
If
So
I could say that a board game was cozy, Amanda, I know we're going to be talking a whole lot about trying to define what a cozy game is as we get into our next EFGCon content sprint. This is a cozy board game.
Ooh.
Get the title.
I love
It's backwards.
cozy.
We do know you love cozy. That's like your favorite genre. So that's
True.
Flamecraft.
Actually, lots of genres are my favorite genre. I'm just a perpetual hype machine.
I know. Well, I mean, we're unmitigated hype monsters here. That's how that works. So,
true.
okay. Not Manda, Linda. What's the next one?
All right. Next one is Planted, and this is the Target exclusive that we talked about that is on the holiday gift guide. And so this one is you are collecting houseplants, and it is a card drafting game.
Oh,
Yes.
right. This one.
Yes, this one. By the way, every plant card is unique. Every plant card. I'm
Love
blown
that
away by that.
so
Just the fact
much.
that every plant card is unique. So with this game, you start out with one beginner plant. And I love some of them are like the snake plant that like everybody, their mom or their grandmother has one. There's a spider plant is one of them. There's a couple other ones, but like they're plants that people often keep. And there's some more exotic ones. So it is card drafting though. So you have your beginner plant at the beginning of every round, which by the way, played over 4 rounds. You draw 8 cards. Some are resource cards, some are tool and decoration cards. And what you are doing is you are then drafting and passing. Now, what I really love that they did, this is intended to be a beginner entry level game. So the labeling on the nursery board or your personal player boards, they did a phenomenal job of making this perfect for a beginner, because where you put one kind of card, it's labeled. Where you put the other kind of card, it's labeled. They want you to pass clockwise for the odd rounds and counterclockwise the even rounds. That's written on the board. Like it's right in front of you. So you don't have to keep going back to the rule book for many of these details. It's literally right in front of you. It tells you how many cards you're drawing each round. Like but they do it in a way that it is not overly busy and it blends right in. So the artwork and the graphic design on this, like top notch. The components on it are beautiful, and the price point, full price, $30.
That's it?
That's it. That is full price. And Target runs board game sales all the time.
Right now,
That
it's
is
buy one, get one half off.
Exactly. So I've got this on one of those, I think it was a buy one, get one, or buy two, get one, or they do deals all the time.
I've never been so excited to get a game about plants now.
Plants. So I played
I need this game.
It's fantastic. And it was one of those, the playtime's supposed to be like 20 to 30 minutes. because I was learning it with my boys, it probably took us 45, maybe 60 minutes, only because it was going through all the rules with them because we were all beginners. It was setting everything up. It was getting through that round. But this was absolutely a 1-round teacher. We did our first round and went, oh, and then the next 3 rounds just zipped.
I love that.
So, and this is a sign of a good game about houseplants. The 10-year-old and the 14-year-old are like, we need to play this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
I mean, what is that? A game about feeding and caring for houseplants.
yeah. We Mega Mom in the
So,
chat.
Well,
hence-
holy jeez.
Mega Mom is in the chat saying that they got this game as a gift for a family member, and they are very excited. So there's validation. You made a good call. Listen, from the moment that game was announced, we knew it was going to be a winner, and as soon as it was brought to the table, it was confirmed. I'm going to bring the last one. I can't find the box, and I'm really upset with myself. I don't know where we put it, but it's Boop. Okay. So Boop.
I know. Boop.
Okay, everybody. So here's what Boop is. Boop is an abstract strategy game about cats and kittens wrestling on a bed. Hear me out.
I love this
Basically,
premise.
so the best part is the whole game board is you take the box out and you flip it upside down, and the game board itself is a quilt. So it's like literally a cloth bedspread with squares, and you take turns putting kittens on the bed. But when you put a kitten down, all of the kittens that are adjacent to it, both orthogonally and diagonally, get pushed back, potentially even off the bed, unless there is another cat in the way behind it, kind of like blocking it. And the idea is you want to put 3 kittens in a row, and then you can return those to your game board, and then you get a cat, which cannot be booped by kittens, can only be booped by cats. So the winner is the person that has 3 cats in a row. So this is deceptively strategic.
That sounds very thinky.
It is very thinky, very puzzly, very strategic, but it's also incredibly easy to teach. And visually, there is nothing like it. I say that as the guy that's the one box that I did not bring to the table, which I feel like a moron, but we'll deal with that next time. This is currently not going to be for sale anywhere. It sold out lightning fast online. It sold out lightning fast at PAX Unplugged this past weekend. But I do have it on good authority by nature of the fact that I'm Facebook friends with the designer that they will have more copies in March. And let me tell you, when they have more copies in March, by then we will have a review ready. We will have all sorts of stuff ready. We will be singing the praises of this game. Boop will be one of our EFG essentials as soon as it's commercially available. Because that's Linda's the manager of board games. She has made it very clear if it's not available, we're not going to call it an essential.
Nope.
And we do the same thing with video games, but it's different for us. We cheat by nature of the fact that everything's digital. So
It's not cheating. It's just the format.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a lower
I know.
C, but I get it. It's different for us. So those are our board games. I think it's a really good squad. Chonky Donkey just barely made the list. Let me tell you, Game Right did send that to us. And of the 4, that's the only one that was actually sent to us. We love Game Right, but honestly, just even the name of that game, I knew that this was going to be a hit. And I knew Linda's youngest was going to love it the most, which is why as soon as I had it, within like days, I brought it to their campground.
It's true.
Like, Linda needs
And he couldn't
this.
stop laughing.
Absolutely not.
He
So
could not stop laughing.
those are our board games.
Mhm.
You know, this will exist in article form. There may be another. We might have forgotten a couple honorable mentions. We'll throw those in there later if we need to. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a pretty good representation of the stuff that we liked. Well thought out. And Flamecraft and Planted are still available. Flamecraft, you can't get the deluxe edition, but you can get the regular one. And I think it's going to be at Target too, because Target's basically just a friendly local game store now. Hi, Danielle.
It's true.
Wifey comes in, wifey goes out.
Bye.
Everybody says hi. She says hi bye.
Hi, bye. Go to bed. Let's talk about video games here, guys.
I love video games.
So
Video games?
You do?
Never
what's a
played.
video game?
They're
It's a
okay.
video game.
They're
I wrote
okay.
about video games.
Jeff, you think you like video games a little?
It's a little.
Just a little. Okay, so we did something different this year, and I think this is something we actually, Amanda and I, kind of randomly decided this with a lowercase d in the beginning of the year, where it's like, you know what, maybe we should just do Game of the Year a little differently, and then slowly over time, while talking to people, talking to John and Linda, and some of our other contributors, it all just kind of coalesced. And then I just made the call. I forget. I think it was like August, where I was like, nope, this is absolutely what we're doing. What we're going to do moving forward is we are going to declare a Game of the Year, and for each category is going to be based on the ESRB. So we're going to declare a E, E+, T, and M Game of the Year. M, we're listing it because we're all grown-ups, we're all parents, we play games when the kids go to bed, and we end up talking about it every once in a while on the podcast because, obviously, children don't listen to this show. This is parents who share games with their kids. So we're giving everybody a little bit of a moment. So the M thing is on there. We used to call it the game for the grown-ups. Honestly, just calling it our M-rated game of the year is much better SEO. So we're going to roll with that. Let's start with E. We're just going to start at the bottom. Amanda.
Yo.
Tell us about our game of the year in the E for everyone ESRB rated category.
So this one, John and I, we were in lockstep on this. We were in lockstep. We're like, listen, what about Disney Dreamlight Valley, y'all? And before anybody gets really excited about it, and they're just like, Manda, it's an early access game. You're right, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Disney Dreamlight Valley feels like a full experience. There are a lot of early access games that feel kind of in flux, right? Like that's the point of early access. It's to get money. I don't want to put my business hat on right now. I started the thought and I'm like, you know what? Not today. No. Not today. We're not putting that on today. You can listen to Virtual Economy if you want that. But for real, it feels like a full game because it is a full game. So Disney Dreamlight Valley, for those that have not listened to me and John, quite frankly, yell about this game pretty much endlessly. It is a Disney fan's absolute delight. It is, you get to make your avatar, you get to have a house, it's like Animal Crossing, and you go out and you collect all of your favorite characters from all these incredible movies and properties. And you have adventures with them. And you build stuff. And you make it pretty. And it's, Disney Dreamlight Valley. Seriously. I love this game so much. John, you love this game too.
So, I haven't played much of this game. But Season of the Sea Witch has played so much of this game.
So much of this game.
And so has Steven. But, the whole thing is, it just... They learned from all the mistakes, not the mistakes, but it learned from the evolution of Animal Crossing.
Yes.
And then just took that and said, what if we had all the Disney licenses? And what if we just pulled things that you don't even care about anymore? There's no other WALL-E verse. So let's pull in WALL-E.
Yeah, WALL-E's great.
Let's make Scar a character in the new expansion. All this kind of stuff where it's just pulling these people out because Disney just has the never-ending well.
They do.
That's true.
And
2 years
Disney
down the line, we're gonna have Marvel and DC. Not Marvel and DC. Marvel and Star Wars. It's gonna happen eventually. With
Maybe
the CEO
overnight,
changing and everything, but it's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be a minute. Disney doesn't make their own video games, just to be clear. This is a Gameloft game. It is a licensed game. Disney is shrewd about licensing, though. So they don't work with just anybody. And Gameloft absolutely killed it. And they are getting nominated for awards left, right, and center, which is absolutely what they deserve.
And
Deserved.
What's so wild about it is the roller coaster of emotion that I went through as this game.
Face journey.
Okay, so first it was announced. and I didn't know anything except the logo and the elevator pitch. Disney Star, like literally Disney Stardew Valley, Disney Animal Crossing. Great. Then I saw Gameloft and I went, ooh, because the problem with Gameloft, historically speaking, they cut their teeth making iPad games, and they weren't great, but they were low budget. They
A
were
racing
new.
game
With the
that's for
exception
sure.
of racing games, with the exception of racing, which honestly, racing, I think the more I've thought about this, racing is remarkably well suited for mobile, whereas other game genres don't. I think like this is that thing that we're all slowly figuring out, and it's like racing really works on mobile.
It really does.
And they executed, but like they made a bunch of other platformers or other like movie and Netflix show tie-ins. It just wasn't great. So then I had my doubts, and then we saw previews. Everybody went hands-on, and then we saw IGN and What's Good Games and GameSpot and a bunch of other YouTubers come in, and I was like, oh, this looks amazing.
Business. It looked like the business.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay. Now, and then I found out it was on Game Pass, and I was like, well,
yeah,
I have no excuse. So then I played it, and you know what? It is every bit. It's every bit as good enough to be our E game of the year. And how about this? Its competition was not small. Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, which admittedly had their problems, but from a kid's perspective was still really good.
Arceus? Oh my gosh! Like Arceus.
Yeah, exactly. And so, among other things, I mean, and also it beat out. I mean, think about all the other sports, and it didn't have to deal with a Forza game this year, which does help.
That's big.
This was a lighter year because it didn't have to deal with Forza Horizons. Gran Turismo was great, but it wasn't. So from
it's not the same thing as an arcade racer.
This was the right year for this game to come out for this purpose, and they executed. And this is one of those things that we're going to be talking about this game next year in the news.
Yeah, we are.
And in things
yeah,
like
we
that
are.
when they do expansions, etc. So huge fan of that. So that is it. Our game of the year is Disney Dreamlight Valley. I'll talk about our E10 Plus game of the year, and that is Kirby and the Forbidden Land. How about that Kirby game? Or Forgotten Land, my bad. Forgotten Land. I got Forbidden on the mind because of another game that we'll talk about in a minute. Jeff, how crazy is that this Kirby game was just so darn good?
I never expected this Kirby game to be so good. I haven't enjoyed playing a Kirby game probably since the Epic Yarn on the Wii.
Which was a long time ago, by the way, y'all.
It was the first game I actually sat down with my daughter and played. She loved it, and unfortunately we did not get to finish it with her because it got left on a plane, but we don't need to talk about that.
That's all right. Nintendo, hook 'em up.
But no, it had no right being this good, especially after the other Kirby game on the Switch. Kirby Star Allies was not great.
It really wasn't.
It was fine, but you're right. This was when they said that they were making a 3D Kirby game. I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be a hot mess, and because I just didn't feel like, to me, Kirby is a side-scrolling game. I didn't think that the move to 3D was going to work for it, and you know what? I was wrong.
I had no problem with the 3D. Can I just say the most fun I've ever had playing as a traffic cone?
I mean, listen.
That's true.
The traffic cone. I mean, I love the big mouth mode. Stupid crap. That was so great. So yeah, I hope that they do like a sequel or DLC or something because I just want more 3D Kirby. I know next year we're getting a re-release of the Wii Kirby game. And I know that that's really just because it was a Wii game and there's no point
Isn't it kind of a remaster of a remake?
Yeah, it is kind of a remaster of a remake. So
the Wii is based off of the original.
Yeah, but that's great.
On NES.
Do it. Nintendo has proven that they can make a DX version of anything and people will buy it. And so by all means, get that bag. But I hope that it is not a symbol that they're going to return back to solely making 2D games. Maybe it'll be like a Mario thing where we kind of go back and forth, right? So that's Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is our E10 plus game of the year. Now, Jeff, it's you and me again for our T-rated game of the year. And this was a big one. I mean, this should not really come as any surprise, and that's really it's really not. You made to listen to me shouting about this game for like a month and a half. It's Horizon in the Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West, big surprise.
Shocking.
Everybody, oh my god! Listen, Horizon gets a rough deal in that every time it comes out, it gets shoved up against a juggernaut. Because think about it. The first time it came out a month before Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, otherwise known as the best video game Nintendo has ever made. Full stop. Right? That's my opinion. I know that's not official company policy. That's my opinion. But
company policy.
But like
Teehee.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I could put it into bylaws. I could. Why not? Right? There's no cops. But I won't. I won't because that's disrespectful. But like, either way, like it came out like a week. It actually came out the same day as or not the same day, like a week before Breath of the Wild. And so that meant that the whole year they were getting compared. And this year it wasn't about comparisons. It was just about unfair competition because it came out. And then not very long afterward, this little game called Elden Ring came out. And then that sucked all the oxygen out of the room. And then we had God of War Ragnarok come out, which one of the best games ever made. I mean, this is just a wild situation. So I feel bad for Horizon, but it absolutely earned its place as our T-rated game of the year. Aloy, still one of the best protagonists in gaming that I have played. She fights robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow. And this time it wasn't even just all dinosaurs. There was some cool stuff in this game. Jeff, you played through this, and you loved it with me.
I played it. I beat it. But just like you said, I'm playing God of War right now, and I honestly can't remember anything about Horizon because...
It's because you're a traitor. That's why. And
I'm a traitor.
So the problem with Horizon, like, I played through the first one. I beat it in 4 days, borrowed it from you. Great. Amazing. And I borrowed the second one from a friend earlier this year. About 3 weeks after it came out, she was pretty far along, but wanted to take a little bit of a break. There's so much to do. Like, almost too much to do. And that's why I fell off. Right. But now it's the end of the year. I have time now. I got like Friday through next Wednesday off. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to finish this game. So,
look,
it got backlogged.
I will not. I mean, and you know what? Lots of things are going to get backlogged next year. I mean, when we come back in the new year, we're going to talk about all the insane things that are coming out next year because next year just got bananas. Thank you, Game Awards. So, lots of things are going to get backlogged, and backlogging happens. But for me, it really came down to. Horizon delivered a really cool post-apocalyptic story that was also...
Even real quickly, though, you don't have a backlog if you just call it a collection.
Oh, I like that thinking.
That's good.
That's not my backlog. That's my collection.
There you go.
We're actually we're gonna make that an image quote and share
I
that.
love that.
That'll go viral.
Go on the back of the box.
It's not. Listen, it's not a.
That's going into Canva. It's going to go on a T-shirt.
It's going to go on a T-shirt. Oh man, we should put it on a T-shirt. So
I have the technology.
Thank you, Linda. So anyway, I don't think that you have the technology to keep up with the demand for what that shirt would be.
That's true, but I can make it for this team.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, it is. I mean, man, so many robot dinosaurs went down as a result of this. Cool post-apocalyptic story, cool weapons, really interesting narrative. It took some interesting twists that did cool stuff, and then neat little equipment twist towards the end that I still don't want to spoil. I love this game. I can't wait for the next one.
I will say the visuals are beautiful. My favorite parts was just seeing parts of, our world in this post-apocalyptic verse without spoiling too much. When you see what Las Vegas has become,
Oh
Yes.
man,
that
Las
was my
Vegas.
favorite.
Well,
That
and
was my
that's one of
favorite thing.
absolutely that is one of the things that I really do like about Horizon is that it is so far into the future that it kind of distorts our world enough that it is, it's a puzzle to try and figure out where you are, and they really are referencing real places a lot of the times. And so I thought that was super interesting. It's not like The Last of Us where you know exactly where you are at all times because it's not that far. It's just, plant life is there.
Right.
Going to minimize The Last of Us. It's not, they're not rewriting the landscape. They're just drawing over it. Whereas here, it's a very different place. Watching the DLC announcement last Thursday on the Game Awards with the Hollywood sign that was like barely hanging on by a thread, I thought that was rad.
That was very cool.
So, that was unfortunate what happened to it at the end of it, I guess. But so anyway, Game of the Year, Horizon Forbidden West. Listen, the Horizon series is going to be on our essentials list on the PlayStation forever. I strongly recommend it. It's hard to get a cool open world action game that isn't headshot central, and Horizon fits that bill. We'll see what happens with the third one if they, get more violent or something like that. But so far, knock on wood, staying at the T rating, and I'm really happy with it. At this point, I'm sure that's by design. All right, let's go to the M-rated game. And I think so we actually have the general team pick, but Amanda, I want you to go because you had
Waiting for
like,
this.
we were going, and you have like your own like way out of left field super indie game, and that is we're calling this Amanda's pick.
Yeah.
I just wanted to highlight it. This isn't like a game that missed the podium, but this is something Amanda thought was so special that it's her personal game of the year. And I thought we would give it some
It
love.
is. It is. It's definitely my personal game of the year. I didn't know what to think of it when I first started it, but yeah. So let's talk about how Immortality was robbed at the Game Awards real quick. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. We're not doing that right now. This isn't the venue. This isn't
not
the place
playing
for the
politics.
discourse.
Yeah.
No, this is not the place for the discourse. We're not doing that. But they were robs. So
Sure.
let me tell you about Immortality, which is a game that you can play on Xbox Game Pass, by the way. Has anybody in here played Her Story?
For about 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So y'all are not super familiar with Sam Barlow
Nope.
and what he does in his games. All right.
Sorry.
So no, that is totally fine. That's totally fine. This is actually his studio's third game. Immortality, unlike Her Story, and can't I remember the name of the second game? Mikey, hey, what was the name of Telling Lies? That's what it was. Those are typey games. Those are games you got to type things in. This is a game where you are using clips from movies that were unreleased by a specific actress who has disappeared. And you are piecing together all of this different information through all of these different clips. And it's not just about, you get a bunch of clips and you have to go through them piece by piece. No, you have to unlock them by tapping on things that are interactive within the clip itself. And that zooms you into a completely different clip. And you'll note, as you're going through the clips and you start scrubbing backwards and forwards, there are these really strange things happening in the background. And it is a whole different kind of game once you figure out how to unlock the secret hidden footage. I am not telling you anything more because I will spoil the twist. The twist is the best part. It's so good. And Immortality is a full motion video game. So it's actors that are being filmed. And I mean, like, full motion video is something that Sam Barlow does in all his games. That's what makes them special. It's because they're different, right? Full motion video is really, really difficult to pull off unless you have great actors. And Sam knows how to work with actors. So Immortality is a game that's still sitting with me, that I still can't stop thinking about, and I stopped playing it months ago. Immortality is the kind of game where nothing like it will ever exist. It is the most singular experience that you can have playing a video game. And
Wow.
it makes no sense until you start playing it. And then you're hooked. And then you're screwed. It genuinely is an excellent game, though. So that is why it is my personal game of the year, let alone, rated M game of the year. It is my game of the year. It had to beat out Pokemon Arceus because that was previously my game of the year, even though it came out in January.
Yeah.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I forgot that Pokemon Legends Arceus was this year.
Yeah,
Because it was so
came out in
early
January.
This year, and this year's been weird. So yeah, I mean, listen. Whenever you mentioned that game, I was like, all right, listen, we can't have this episode without giving you the space to talk about that game because I knew that it was important to you.
It means a lot to me. Thank you.
So, so that is Immortality. It's a Steam. It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game
also
Pass, yeah.
But it's on Steam also, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
So,
And more than likely, I'm sure that we'll find it on tablets because Telling Lies is on tablets
Yep.
as well.
yeah. So it's
All
Probably
of
come
Sam's
to the
games-
Switch eventually.
All of Sam's games are incredible. They're all incredible in very different ways. But Immortality is genuinely his magnum opus, with all of them amazing actors and all of the amazing writers that he worked with to make that game come to life. And he's the first person that would share credit, right?
This
He's
is
just
the-
that kind of guy.
This is definitely our list of almost Game Pass games. Like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the 2 exclusives, pretty much Game Pass stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to re-up my Game Pass just to play some of these.
Yeah.
Mm.
Listen,
We also had Pentiment this year, and that's
Oh.
another one that's just on the edge of the log.
I
that I
haven't
have to get
finished
to.
it yet, though, so I didn't want to put it up for Game of the Year, considering I haven't finished it. I'm like halfway through the game. If you are a history dork, you have
Yep.
to play Pentiment.
Mhm.
You must.
Absolutely.
Especially
Well-
if you have any enthusiasm about 16th century Bavaria,
So
which
before-
apparently I do.
Before we spend too much time talking about the games that missed the boat, let's talk about the game that got there.
Heck
And
yeah.
then we can spend the rest of the time talking about the games that were notable to us. Our M-rated game of the year, our M-rated game of the year is God of War Ragnarok.
And you are
Yeah.
right. There are lots of boats in that game.
Yeah.
There are, in fact, there's a lot of boats. So God of War Ragnarok, man, listen. If you had told me 10 years ago
Yeah.
that a God of War game would make me cry genuinely within the first 10 minutes, I would have told you were a madman, and I might have referred you to the authorities. I would have been very concerned. And it happened. 100%. This game, I texted Amanda, actually, as it happened. I was like, Amanda, I haven't even really gotten to play the game yet, and I'm already, like, in tears. Super intense. So gorgeous. Man, Jeff, you and I have been playing this. I know John played it too. Linda, did you watch this getting played?
It is not at our house yet. It will be
Oh.
a
Oh,
gift
that's right,
opened in a few weeks.
That's
So
right, that's right.
don't tell him.
That's right.
It's
Well,
been
I
ordered.
mean, I bet you.
Think he's
I bet you
asleep.
feeling-
I know.
Yeah.
He's been putting like 200-300 hours into a different Ragnarok, the Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
variety.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Valhalla.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the Valhalla,
Stellar.
which is
So
great.
fun to even
Which is
just
great.
watch.
Yeah.
Is- Is it too much spoilers to tell why you were crying at the
No,
beginning?
we're not talking about it. We're not talking
Okay.
about
We're
it.
not talking about it.
Because I'll cry again.
Yeah.
And it's not even
Okay.
just that. I haven't cracked the game yet, my dears.
So
yeah.
listen, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get to that moment. You're gonna be like, oh man.
And then
I
you're
have
gonna
to tell
text
you.
Steve,
And then
yeah.
you're gonna, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna text me and be like, "Oh, I got to that part." And so, but this is it's a direct continuation of the first story. Like, not immediately, but it is very clearly just continuing that story. This is the end of the Norse saga. It is so cool. It
Can
is
even
absolute-
select a video to show you what happened in the previous game in case you forgot.
which
Yeah.
I,
Oh,
which
that's
I
cool.
played,
Which was
I
great.
played, and I loved it because it told me all the little details that I would have forgotten. and would have had to remember in the moment, and I probably would have. The action is great. It surprised me in ways that I was, hoping to be surprised, but it delivered on everything I expected from a narrative to a gameplay perspective. Listen, God, I should not care about Kratos. When he was made, he was just the dude bro that was just there to like turbo murder dudes and do inappropriate things with women. That was his whole mission. And now he is probably one of the best father figures in gaming. Period.
Also true.
Which should not happen. But then again, people are allowed to grow. And Kratos has grown, and I am worried about him.
It's indicative of what happens when you pass off even, previously beloved IP to a brand new team.
Yep.
And say, go make something new and different. And then they give us the rebooted version of God of War, and they give us a fully fleshed out Kratos that we can love and root for, rather than be like, this guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Before
it was an arcade game, right? It was like it was an
that's
arcade
exactly what it was.
And
yes,
now
exactly.
I care. It was just a set piece. It was which god is he going to turn into a flashlight this time?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Literally.
Literally. And now I like legitimately care about every fight that he has, every encounter he has. I care about the villains. It's just not supposed to work this way. But here we are. Jeff, I know you are currently playing through it. Yes,
I'm currently playing through it. I'm about 25 hours in.
Listen, so you're about halfway there. Listen, you're in for a treat there, buddy. Just plug away. Get there.
I don't do this very often, but yesterday while I was playing, I paused it and I used my PS5 share just so I could tweet out the picture so I could steal this image and use it as like a background for my phone.
Yeah.
Like it is
it's
beautiful.
so pretty. So
I
pretty.
allow it. Listen, that's one thing that I really will say about all the games that I played this year. Like, I have played the best looking stuff in 2022 between Horizon, which was ridiculous, Gran Turismo 7, which taught me what ray tracing was, to God of War, which some of the set pieces are just absolutely out of control, and then just the subtle beauty of Elden Ring. Just some of the best stuff, man. And I mean,
even Kirby was pretty in its own way.
Oh, dude, Kirby was absolutely the right thing. And what's crazy is I know next year. Oh man, next year's gonna be so crazy. We'll talk about that in January. We'll talk about it in January.
You're going to have
For
to
future us. Please don't curse us yet.
Yeah, it's a future us. Future us.
Next
future us.
next
So
year,
much work you can do.
next year's game of the year. You're gonna have to ask us for our list 3 weeks in advance so we can start putting it together.
3 months in advance.
We're gonna have to start working on it. Linda and I have already talked about how we're gonna handle how we're gonna manage game of the year stuff for board games. We'll probably have to do the exact same thing with video games. We do have several EFG cons next year, so we're just gonna have to manage it then. That's what EFG cons are for. Y'all can remote in if you don't want to come visit. So
one day I'll be there in person.
I know.
Oh, we'd love to host you.
I get really jealous whenever Linda posts the menus, and I'm like, please send some to Michigan.
They don't travel well. Sorry.
Travel well. So, all right. So that's
Doesn't
our game of the
travel
year
well.
that is our M-rated game of the year. Let's just go review the slate one more time. And then we'll talk. Then we'll spend the next couple of minutes. Everybody will go through and we'll talk about some of our near misses for us. So E, Disney Dreamlight Valley. E10 plus, Kirby and the Forbidden Land or Forgotten Land. T, Horizon Forbidden West. M, God of War Ragnarok with an asterisk. Manda's pick, Immortality. I'm not gonna lie. If someone was gonna pick a starting 5 for this year, that's as good of a lineup as you could imagine in any year. 2022 game development community, man, kudos. Can't wait to see what you got. But man, if this is one of the best years I've seen, as far as the depth down the category. Sometimes the E games get thrown away or whatever. This was great. So super happy about that. Let's take a moment. Linda, Did any of these games really resonate with you? I know you don't play a lot of video games, but you watch a lot because you're
I do watch a lot.
You're really engaged with your family and with your husband, and like you'll sit and you'll be grading papers or having a snack.
Always
watch
busy.
it. Yeah, well, you're always
Right.
busy because you can't sit still.
No, I can't.
So, did any of
Big
these
mood.
kind of did any of these games kind of resonate with you as like your favorite game to watch this year?
So of that list, I do have to say that the Horizon Forbidden West, he played so much because he is a completionist. He has a side quest problem. So watching my John go through and play so many hours. I don't even know what he ended up logging for it. But what I love with a game like this is I don't see everything. It doesn't, if he has insomnia, he plays, or if he does on his day off, he plays. I'll come in and say, okay, update me. Give me the summary of what I missed in the story. And literally, but he would, have to pause and then give me the synapse of here's what just happened. Or it might be, I was just side questing, no new plot developments. He may or may not have made sure I saw he knew he was coming to some of the end of the story, major cutscenes, and would make sure he would call me in to watch them. So the level of engagement that I was able to have just as a bystander was top notch. And I'm invested. I want the third one to come out as someone that just watches the story. So I think that speaks volumes yeah. There's a couple games he's played where I want to see the next game because they do such a great job of telling the story.
I tell you what, God of War Ragnarok is going to do the exact same thing. God of War Ragnarok, you're gonna watch it. The good news about God of War is that the story is not convoluted, right? Like we're not talking Kingdom Hearts here. Like at the end of the day, the story, the motivations, the actual moment to moment actions that they're taking are relatively straightforward. And that's one of the things that I really like about it is that it doesn't have to be like this crazy convoluted story in order for it to be entertaining and compelling and engaging. And so when he plays through God of War, you're going to watch that. And if you miss a piece, the recaps will be very quick. And then you'll be able to be right into the action. And part of that is just how personal the story is. Because it really is dad and his kid doing dad and his kid stuff. It just so happens that they're fighting a pantheon while they do it. So very exciting about that. Let's all go around now.
Can I say something real quick about God of War Ragnarok, though?
Of course you can.
I'm really disappointed that Kratos has already killed all the Greek gods because I want this type of God of War with the Greek mythology.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It would be nice if we could go back, but he's going to go somewhere next. Clearly they are not done. And who's gonna tell the actor that does the voice for Kratos? No, I'm not.
Chris Judge?
Yeah.
No.
We
already tried that.
Yeah, they couldn't even get him to leave the Game Awards stage.
I wasn't mad about it.
Oh, really?
I wasn't mad about it. It was amazing.
They played the music and he just kept talking.
Well,
Love it.
Are you
don't play Chris Judge off.
Okay, you know what? So I had an emotional roller coaster with that too, and I realized after a few seconds that I thought it was too long because I was comparing it to the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, etc. And then I was like, you know what? I was watching it with my wife and my middle son Jake, and he was talking. He's like, "Why are you talking about what does playing him off mean?" Because I was like, "Oh, they're going to play him off soon." Because I just assumed they were going to, and then they didn't. And I think it was a battle with my own expectations. I was like, "Oh, well, if you can play off, think about the people that the famous actors. Like, if you can play off Anthony Hopkins at the Oscars, you can play off Chris Judge." But then I was like, you know what? They're not going. They stopped, and I was like, "Wow, this is awkward." And then I was like, "You know what? It's only awkward because I'm making it that way." Because at the end of the day, I was expecting them to play him off, and they weren't, and that made it weird. But his story was cool and personal, and also the amazingness of his not giving any craps about what they had to say, because he was going to take his moment and celebrate his friends and the people that he worked with to bring that role to life. But it was kind of funny when they put it when they apparently from some of from some tweets that I read, they actually put "wrap it up, please" on some of the screens for the teleprompters, trying to get him to stop, and he just ignored them.
But the man earned it. The man earned it. Like he's been one of the hardest working actors on TV, and finally he got his place to shine, and he took that. You know.
I will say though, you have not seen a lawn acceptance speech until you've watched Hillbilly Jim get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Okay. Oh, right. Well, that's
rumors are he is still on stage talking to this day.
Okay. Admittedly, that was a long one, but anyway. So that's a deep cut. Okay. So
deep cut,
I'm always here for the deep cuts.
All right. Thank you for that. Well, it's been a while since you and I have gotten to talk wrestling. So, all right. So let's all take a moment. Let's talk about a game that just missed the podium. Amanda, do you have one? A game that you're like
just missed it?
Yeah, what do you think? What's a game that you really think maybe should be on here but isn't, and whatever that you want to talk about, or do you want us to come back to you? Because I have one.
Well, I mean, like for me, at least for E, I mean, Disney Dreamlight Valley was in hot contention with Pokemon Arceus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, because it was one of my favorite games of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved Arceus. I haven't loved a Pokemon game like that, I think, since X. I think that was the last time I really, really loved a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And Arceus just got its claws into me, and they're like, you can't go anywhere. Not even for Elden Ring.
There was something about that gameplay loop that was just so compelling.
It just
one more trip in. Let me throw some Pokemon balls or Pokeballs. So let me catch some Pokemon. Let me stealth around. Let me ride my horse. Whatever. I wasn't a horse, but whatever. So good. I remember you and I talked a lot about Arceus when it came out, and it is great. I mean, absolutely.
And that one got so much gameplay at my house. That was a huge hit with our family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, John? You were championing a different game. So we got, and I know that I stole your thunder on this one, but tell me about Marvel Snap, because I mean
it's still so addicting. I don't know if you saw in the community chat the community the other day, but I posted one where I used a Venom card with the land that duplicates everything. And then I used was it Armzola? So it was destroying it, putting it somewhere else, and then destroying it over there and putting it somewhere else. And it just, at the end of it, I had one land that had 896 on it. Like, it was stupid.
Yep.
I literally broke the game. It took like 3.5 minutes to finish that one move. And like, it's just a good game. Yeah. Like, it's the fact that you could play, 15 games, like, while you're indisposed and not know anything about the world. Like, it's something about that where you just get in and out of every single game. You could just play it all night long.
Yeah.
And then you just don't know how much time has passed.
It's pretty ridiculous. Definitely with you on that. I don't spend money on mobile games, and I have bought the season passes for all of them.
Same. And the fact that the battle pass or whatever is so small that you feel like you're just giving that to the devs rather than being a whale and buying gold and stuff and just buying the other stuff because you want some cosmetics, you want a different icon. I feel like I'm supporting my devs, and that's exactly why the game's there.
Yeah. Listen, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was just saying, once you find a deck that works for you, it's so fun. Yeah. It took me a while. I finally found out I really like my discard deck.
Yeah. Oh, you're one of those guys.
Listen, one of those guys.
The discard decks are fun.
Yeah. It's an Infinite, so when Hela comes in and just brings my
and
Infinite,
Apocalypse and all that stuff.
I don't use Apocalypse. I use Hela and Infinite or Jubilee or Jubilee. Lee will just pull Infinite from my deck, and they're like, "Oh crap!"
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm-
It's all
I mean,
over.
What's crazy about this is you're saying things that I both understand and don't all at the same
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
I started playing Marvel Snap, and then I said, "Oh,
Oh, no.
I only have enough time for one time sink in my life." And so I can't with this one. Although I'm just gonna say it. Speaking of my time sinks, a game that I just didn't want to just be that guy to just use my bully pulpit to shove it into the list. But listen, World of Warcraft Dragonflight it came out a couple of weeks ago, and as I said on the podcast, and I have said in TikToks and things like that, World of Warcraft Dragonflight feels like coming home in all of the right ways, and that feeling has continued. The new raid opened up today. I made my guild cancel raid tonight, so that I can do my podcast and give people some other time. But it is everything that I needed World of Warcraft to be after the last couple of years of some disappointment. And man, I am so thrilled to be back in that world. But also speaking of time sinks, and Amanda, you're going to identify with this with me about this. Vampire Survivor. Is it? Let me tell. And now it's on mobile. Now it's on mobile. Amanda, could you imagine if this game came out on mobile first? We'd have been dead. We'd have been dead. We'd be dead. Listen.
I don't think that I would have moved.
Yeah.
From where I was at all.
Our arms would be stuck like this. So Vampire Survivor is a roguelike where you are collecting characters, moving around a battlefield, and it's an engine builder, Linda. This is why I love Vampire Survivor.
Oh, wow. You just encapsulated it perfectly.
You're collecting Castlevania-themed weapons, more or less, and they all do different stuff. They combo off each other, and there's a little bit of RNG about what you see, what you get, etc. Different characters have different powers, and you're quote-unquote adventuring, but really you're just moving through these massive, spaces, and enemies come at you in the thousands. So it's kind of like an engine builder, but it's also a little bit of a Muso game. I know that in that, like, the one versus many times 4, out of control. This game is so silly. You know who would absolutely love this game is Linda. Your youngest son would love just how wild and crazy this gets. It will.
You can throw cats.
You can throw cats.
In fact, throw cats.
You can unlock the cat lady, and you can throw cats.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. This will this is going to come to many systems eventually. It's coming to mobile now, so throw it on your phone, let them play it. It's absolutely way better than it has any right to be. Jeff, you actually, the reason that you are on here today, because we've been, you had suggested talking about a little role-playing game that came out this year for the Switch, and I was like, you know what, you got to come on and talk about it because I didn't play it. So Jeff, tell me a little bit about Live Alive.
Live Alive, Live Alive. I still don't know how to pronounce it.
It's Live Alive.
Per Schneider says it's Live Alive, and he was in Japan when it came out. So I'm gonna I believe Amanda.
Schneider. I will trust Per Schneider. Him and I are Facebook friends.
Anyway.
So Live. It was. Let me try to remember. I was not expecting to be as good as it was. Because they took an SNES RPG and they were able to modernize it to make it more accessible to today. You take, I think it's 7 different characters. They each have their own story. They each have their own genre. So you have the Western guy who is having a shootout against the bandits. You have the caveman where your whole story is told with emoticons because cavemen can't talk.
Which I think is,
of course,
genius.
And you can follow along with the story. There's no talking in that whole section. You have your medieval guy who, goes to the castle. You have your ninja. And then they have, I think it's called the Near Future, where it's just an anime Gundam game.
Which, who doesn't love an anime Gundam game?
Yes, but
I love me some Gundams.
But and
Linda's
they
like,
all
"What's
have
that?"
the same.
Can we add that to the definition list?
Oh, nah, we won't put Gundam on there. But Gundams is just they're big robots, but they're not robots.
fine.
They're suits. It's complicated.
Gotcha.
I'll show you a video.
It's all good.
Like Voltron.
I got you.
Yeah.
Power
That's a good
Rangers.
analogy. I can envision this.
Yeah, close enough. I'm just not gonna fight it. I'm just not gonna fight it. I'll send you a video.
No,
Okay.
the game was great. I enjoyed my time with it. I will admit I did not beat it. Other games came out. When you have kids, things just kind
You
of
have
fall
to
to the
curate your time.
wayside. Yep. We were John and I were actually talking before we got on because we were both saying we play God of War on easy, and I said I play lots of games on easy nowadays because I have kids. I don't have time to struggle.
I think a lot of parents do that. I know a lot of people that do that, including my husband.
Steven, I saw another game that I also want to bring up because we cannot leave out that a new Ninja Turtles game also came out this year.
You know what? Here's the thing, man. You're right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
And I pulled up my Twitter feed of all the games I've beaten this year, and I'm like, oh, that game did come out.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Here's the thing. It is so good. It is so wonderful. The soundtrack was
It's
bananas.
nostalgic.
I will never forget my favorite of Amanda's expressions. She's a very expressive woman.
I am.
Probably my favorite Amanda face of all time is when I pointed out that the Shredder theme was done by Ghostface Killah from the Wu-Tang Clan. And when I pointed that out, her reaction was so pure and wonderful that I will never forget it.
I just got really excited, guys.
It was really exciting.
Nothing wrong with that.
And all of our audience at that moment was like, wait, we didn't know Steve was a Wu-Tang fan, because I don't track as a Wu-Tang fan, but I am. And
That was the
you're
best
right.
part of it for me, is that I also didn't know that, but then I was like, you too?
I feel seen.
I feel
Yes!
So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, so wonderfully good.
It was
So-
nostalgic. Like one of my earliest gaming memories was my parents bringing home Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time, and I had a mark on the carpet. I was not allowed to sit closer to the TV than this mark.
Oh, your parents did that to you too? My parents
There
had
was-
tape. We
It
had
was
tape.
duct tape, silver duct tape
Oh
on
my
the floor
goodness.
and an X.
Masking tape.
You're not allowed to sit closer than that TV. And I remember them taking it home, and I sat there, and it probably was. I mean, I played games before this, but this was probably the first game I beaten was Turtles
Wow.
in Time, because I just sat there and I played it, and it's probably the game I've beaten the most. They tried to re-release it back when the Xbox 360 was doing Xbox.
Well, you know it's on the Cowabunga collection. We know that it's on the Cowabunga collection. You have
I know.
It's in that stack behind you, I'm sure.
I do not have the Cowabunga collection. It's on my list of games to get.
Whew. So, because the Cowabunga collection, what's wild about that is the Cowabunga collection has the arcade version of TMNT4, which
Oh,
has
Which isn't as
some-
good as the Super Nintendo version. I'm sorry.
I mean, all right, I'm going to cut you off. How do I play him off? No, the arcade version is the definitive. The arcade version is the definitive version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time. We can fight this out later. You know what? There is no bad version of TMNT4. It is the definitive arcade brawler. Shredder's Revenge, also great. I want to talk about one last one, and it's one. The reason it missed all of our lists is because it just came out very recently. I was sent a copy from 2K Games, and that is Midnight Suns, which is a game that again another roller coaster of emotion. Because Amanda listened to me being like, "I'm really excited about this game, but it's definitely going to be rated M because it's a Firaxis strategy game with freaking Blade and Ghost Rider in it." And you know what? What I got was a Firaxis strategy game with card-based combat, some of my favorite Marvel superheroes of all time, and you're building relationships with different characters, including people of the opposite gender, and you're not trying to sleep with them.
It's Persona,
Yeah.
but it's Marvel, and it's also kind of XCOM, and I haven't played it yet, but I keep watching all of the people around me
So-
playing it, because I'm playing a lot of Redacted right now. Like 3 different kinds of Redacted.
Oh my
I
word.
cannot wait.
Oh, I love when Redacted happens in Redacted.
Right?
It's so
a lot.
good.
For
a
legal
lot.
purposes, he doesn't know what the actual redacted.
It's true. All he knows is the word redacted.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
just a
extent.
psychic conversation here. John and I have this
Conversation. Just wanna
relationship.
make
It's
sure.
fine.
Yeah.
I just want to listen for legal purposes. I'm just trying to cover everything. However,
Mhm.
Midnight Suns is absolutely taking the persona and the relationship building stuff that's very like very Dragon Age, very like building relationships, conversations, but platonic.
But not with sexy time.
But it's just
Yeah.
elite. Considering you're like hanging out with like some of the most like powerful and attractive people on the planet, like it's not at all horny, which is really weird to me, but also like really cool.
Strange.
Like you're just hanging out with Captain Marvel, like in bathing suits by the pool, just chilling, and it's just like total hangout time. Hi, Viv. Viv
Viv scared the crap out of me. Oh my god.
She
I got
ninja you.
punched- I got
That is
punched in
another-
the jaw.
That is also one of my favorite Amanda faces. Is her look of surprise and fear when people come up and surprise her in her office.
It's really only Vivian that does it
She's a
though.
ninja.
But Vivi got her blue belt today in
Yeah, yeah,
Taekwondo.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Yay, blue belt.
All right, I love you. Sleep good.
Bye.
Smooch. See you in the
Bye.
morning, Tiny
So
baby.
yeah, man, Midnight Suns. Honestly, if this came out in like June, I feel like this would have been in contention with Horizon. I haven't played enough of it. I've probably got about like 10, 15 hours in. I just unlocked Spider-Man. Like that's how not far into this I am. And you know what? It is so good. It is so cool. The card-based combat is really better than it has any right to be. Deadpool's in the DLC. Like this is just.
Boy.
So yeah. So listen. Now that this year was really good, guys. 2022. In the rearview mirror. One of my favorite years of games, especially one of my favorite years of games that EFG has covered. Which, looking forward to next year, I don't know if the other four of you know, but next year is EFG's 10th anniversary.
I can't
Wow.
believe 10 years.
In
I
June,
cannot
Yeah.
believe
EFG
that.
will have going on for 10 years. Which is so it is Amanda just is not even sure how to process
She's
it.
broken, yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's great.
Yeah,
you
we're
know
gonna-
what's also crazy, Steven? You and I have been working together for 5 years then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been doing this a long time, man. This is a long time.
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah, time is a flat circle. So, next year is going to be a big whole bunch of celebrations. We have a magazine now. We have, what's great about this is this year had a lot of really great games, both video games and board games. Lots of great experiences. But not only did the podcast have, we had like a little brief hiatus this summer, which I think we all needed. But we came back and stronger than ever with a more defined format, a better cast. I do want to say Jeff and I are going to figure out a way to get him back on here more often, if not forever. So we're going to be back next year. Listen,
I
it's up
would
to you.
love to be a member of this podcast.
Well, then, I mean,
Yeah.
as long as your wife will let you, then we're good. So I mean, bring it on in the new year. We got a magazine. We got all sorts of crazy stuff. And next year, like I said, it's our 10-year anniversary. I'm super excited to see what we have up our sleeves
Incredible.
for that. So, everybody, guys, we
Help party hats.
well, I mean, obviously, party hats. What do you... God. Of course we're going to have party hats. And it's going to be right around Street Fighter 6's release date. So maybe...
Oh, really?
just maybe... I'll do some Street Fighter related stuff to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of VFG. Maybe Amanda and I will do Street Fighter related stuff, or something like that. Who knows? We will figure it out. Everybody that is watching, thank you very much for watching. I know Mega Mom is still out there. Thank you very much. I'm sure Season of the Sea Witch is out there as well. Maybe she's gone to sleep. I don't know. It is late. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording, which is a whole lot. We're setting the bar real high. Because we do really enjoy this. We'll be back in the new year. I hope everybody has a good holiday season. If you are a parent, John, give them a reminder. What is the reminder?
Do not forget to open up any console that you've bought for Christmas or the holidays. And number 2, don't forget to also open up the software and update any games. There may be day one patches, and you don't want to, the kids opening it up, popping in that game, and then have to wait an hour and a half for the download. And it's just pulling teeth. And I don't have many left. So
listen, so literally it is for most of the consoles now, it's actually a lot easier. On the PS3, Xbox 360 era, it was a lot. There was a whole bunch of stuff to do. If you just connect it to the Wi-Fi and let them do their system updates, it'll take a little while, but chef kiss, it will be much better. Trust me,
absolutely.
You will have a much more pleasant Christmas morning. So everybody, I hope you have a pleasant Christmas morning. We will see everybody back in the new year. We'll be announcing all over our socials when we will be coming back. And until next time, we hope that you have a great day. And don't forget to get your family game on. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.